Hey folks, Valentin the Mad here, and today we'll be looking at the destruction effects in Severed Steel. So, this is one I was really looking forward to make. Severed Steel is a fast-paced shooter game with environments that are entirely destructible. Level boundaries aside, every shot will carve holes in the environment, explosions will create even larger holes, leaving the levels a mess at the end of every fight. So in this video we'll have a look at the destruction mechanics, how they work, and at some of the issues and the limitations. Let's get right into it. Just like in Teardown, you have voxel-based environments. Almost everything is made of small blocks and those will get destroyed during the fight. There is a difference between the materials the blocks are representing, so glass or paper walls are something your character can just run or jump through, while the other materials will respond to gunfire, explosives or melee attacks. The main difference among the latter is penetration. Some will let bullets go right through, while others will have more resistance. And there is a difference between the weapons too. Now I should note that penetration here is not focused on realism. You will see certain surfaces where a kick and an SMG will deliver essentially the same response of just carving the surface out. That is a gameplay call. If it was realistic, many walls and surfaces here would provide basically zero real cover. They would conceal and hide the character but would not stop any bullets. Perhaps realistic penetration could be fun as a separate mutator for the firefight mode. Would be interesting to see how something like that would affect the course of the fight, but mainly the aftermath when every bullet will penetrate a whole lot more. As for the looks, the bullet holes are turned sideways and that small touch actually makes a pretty notable difference. Makes the response feel much less blocky than it otherwise would. Also, if you have the voxel physics setting turned on, you can chop objects up, parts will be disconnected and fall off. And, once cast, the damage is permanent for the entire time you're playing the level. Kind of obvious here and in other voxel-based games, but as you know, generally, great aftermaths are not out too common of a feature. So yeah, I'll always be excited about that. Now as for the explosions, you'll see a sphere at the point of impact, annihilating everything within the damage radius. They look sort of resemble the Terminator arrival scene with the spherical damage and the glowing edges. And as for those edges, they will remain glowing indefinitely, so the aftermath when you had a lot of explosions going on, those will definitely not look right. Now as for some of the other issues and limitations. So first of all, aside for the chopped up voxels, there is no debris. You'll see this effect when hitting certain surfaces, but that vanishes rather quick. And there is nothing on explosions too. Another issue that is pretty notable is that there is no damage texture for gunfire. When you hit something, you will see the object itself deform, but the damaged sections will still retain the original texture. Not much of a problem on a grey wall, but it will look odd on many surfaces you have in the game. Something I should note is that the environments will be pretty static. You can carve in the surfaces, but unless it's been detached completely from all sides, you won't see it fall, so you won't see a lot of stuff get toppled during the fight. That is something I personally consider in the you can't have it all category. The response for the flamethrower is very basic. It will chew up whatever's in front of it while you're shooting, but there's nothing afterwards. There are some visual effects of a fire, but those are entirely visual. There is no further burning, there is no further damage, so the functionality is basically that of an acid gun. and you will be seeing some physics glitches. Despite those, the experience is very responsive. The game scratches a very strong itch for me of coming to a clean location and just leaving it in a state of a total mess. No fancy pre-made destruction that's always going to be the same, but rather seeing damage where it happened during combat, where you shot it, where enemies shot it, and that is going to be different on every single playthrough. Also, pointing out the obvious, but it definitely should be noted, it's very refreshing seeing a fully destructible environment in a game that is not a destruction sandbox where you make your own fun, not a game of physics-based riddles, not a survival game where you spend 10 hours building stuff before you see any action, but a shooter game where destruction is just a response on the environment for the action that's going on. And in my view, this response takes the experience to a whole new level. A few points about the game, destruction aside. The movement and the gunplay are very solid. Those would be fun even without the destruction. Configurability is also a major thing in the game. You can tweak every feature of the UI and several other aspects. That in my opinion matters a lot. I played mostly in firefight mode with the triple threat mutator, which triples the enemy count in the game. I found the regular enemy count to be rather small, so that prolongs the action quite a lot and, of course, leaves the environments in an even messier state. What I'm thinking is, what if that gets pushed even further? Like tenfold carnage. I'd love to see the aftermath of a fight with 10 times the vanilla enemy count. And I do have a point of feedback about the AI. On some of the larger levels, the ones with multiple floors, with triple threat on, enemies will often be respawning in their original spawn point and they don't really know where you are at. So you will find yourself in those levels re-clearing floors and looking for enemies. And my thought is, what if they respawn generally close to you, like not right in your face but not too far off? And if they had some rough idea of where you are located? The idea is to have non-stop action without those pauses of having to go out and search for enemies on some of the levels. Just have them continuously come at you. In the bottom line, I do recommend this game both for the awesome responsive environments and for the gameplay. It is one I'll be playing even after I finish the video. So, that's it for today. Do let me know how I feel in the comment section, and if you enjoyed the video, subscribe and share it around. And consider supporting the channel on Patreon. For $1 a month you get these videos a week early, you get the interviews a week early, and you help out the channel. So a big thank you to all the Patreon members, and consider joining as well. Also, if you like the music you hear in the intro, outro, and in the background, the YouTube and Spotify playlists are in the description. Until next time.